you've been in a crash or injured in an accident and some kind of negligence, you got to remember the insurance company is not your advocate. They're not on your side. They're building their case against you from day one. That's why, as a personal injury attorney, of course, always encourage people to talk to us. But I have some good stories here as to why I think it's important to talk to a personal injury attorney before you proceed, and also just to determine kind of what's best for you. So let me start at a couple stories and some different perspectives of cases where I've seen people get helped by this or avoided it. So I recently had somebody call me, and they were in an accident and they were still treating. So first off, never, if you're still treating, don't settle with an insurance company. Even if you're gonna do it alone, save yourself the trouble. You have 3 years from the date in New Mexico of a car accident, as long as it's not against a government entity, to file a lawsuit. So don't settle while you're still treating, because you don't know how things will go. Sometimes things can get worse and you might have missed something. But this person called me and they were talking about their accident. Now, their accident, they were hit by a drunk driver, which in New Mexico, actually, even under your own insurance, entitles you to greater damages. Unfortunately, though, when this person called me, they had been treating, they were still treating, and they already settled their case. They called the insurance company, they got a settlement, they signed it. And they called me and they said they wanted to sue for more. Well, unfortunately, at that point, there's nothing I can do for them, right? I could have put them in a good position, not only to advocate on their own behalf, and right, it's great to put money in their pocket, but to continue to be able to afford their care. And so that's one of the things I really want to be able to do, is put people in a position to take care of themselves, right? One of the reasons you don't want to settle before a case is done or before you're done treating is you don't know how worse it's going to get, and so then you're fronting it out of pocket. Insurance benefits from you settling sooner. If your injuries get worse or you're 2 years down the road and you're still in pain and they paid you $3,000, right? That is an easy purchase for them. I tell clients all the time, if you want to handle this yourself, call an insurance company. Call them and offer them, say, I'll settle this for $1,000. They'll do it, but that will put you in a worse position. So that's one of the stories I'm thinking of, and that's a good reason, right? The first one of you don't necessarily know what you don't know. And so even if you decide that you want to handle it yourself, don't settle until you're done treating, right? You have time. It would be nice to have that money in your pocket, but it comes with a whole lot of strings attached, and it's not going to be easier for you. The next one I'll think of, I had a client, a sophisticated client, really knowledgeable, right? I love when people who are not necessarily, or even lawyers, come in and call me and they're like, hey, I have a case. They come to me, this person comes to me. Insurance had offered her between $12,000 and $15,000, which most people, right? She was doing better. She had mostly healed. She was still doing some treatment, almost done. But when she was in the process of treating, she just decided to give me a call. And so she comes to me with these bills that her bills are probably about $20,000, but insurance had offered her to pay for $13,000. And actually they had offered to pay the bills. They really hadn't even offered to give that amount of money. But even if they offer that amount of money, and let's assume they do here for the sake of the story, so they offer that amount, what happened is I was able to get the records together, right? The client had not been able to walk for 2 months. There had been a fracture. She had some good insurance, thankfully. But I was able to get a lot of her liens and monies that her insurance had asserted waived against her. And then at the same point, I had been able to effectively 10x the number she got. And frankly, if she had wanted to fight it out in court, we could have gone a little further. And that was not what her desire was, which is totally fine, right? That end of the day goes to the client. But all she had to do was talk to me and wait a few months and focus on her treatment. And that's really the most important thing. But again, she's a sophisticated person. And plenty of my clients are. You don't have to be sophisticated to get help. I don't mean it in that way, but really it's in the sense of even if you know a lot of things about the process, you have good insurance, it's easy to feel like, oh, that's a good number. But I think one of the problems and one of the things I really am able to help with that people don't do is people really struggle to value their own pain. I think the way that it works is like we as humans move forward. We want to get better. We want things to feel better. We don't want to be in a position where we're letting something drag us down. And so frankly, I'm the one asking you about your past. I'm the one asking you to start writing a journal when you get hurt. I'm the one when I put you in a position that you can put yourself in a better position and kind of remember those things. I remember them, right? And so that's really, that's another story of just like an example of, right, why a personal injury attorney can help you, because I can help you put a good valuation on your claim. And then also, even if not, let's say like, I don't want a good valuation. Well, the thing is a lot of times in those cases, I can help somebody determine how much insurance there is. I had a client come to me and they thought the other driver had $100,000 in insurance. I have ways that I can confirm the amount of insurance, and actually found out this person on their own would have demanded $100,000. Now, other reasons you don't need to necessarily demand a specific number against another driver. I found out there were $250,000 available, right? just by going to a personal injury attorney, this person had significant injuries, but just by coming to me, I knew how much was available to ask for. And so again, you're knowing these numbers. Now, I think the thing to think of that maybe I should have started with, best case scenario in any context, I always tell people to, is that if you come to me and you want to, and you want like a big settlement, right? Big settlements come with big injuries. And so if you are really hurt, that's generally how you get more money, right? Like that's that case, this person had significant injuries. But even then too, I had a case where a gentleman came to me, he severe car accident, walks away fine, goes to the doctor twice. His medical bills are small, but we're able to get him a couple $1,000s in his pocket because there's still damages from it that aren't just medical bills. So again, just little things that a client can be in a position to do. And then the last example I'll give, let's say that insurance offers you big money, right? You're hit by a commercial vehicle, or you're hit by somebody with a lot of insurance, and insurance comes to you and offers you a large sum of money. First off, if you decide to negotiate on your own, which I wouldn't advise again, because I think I can help you put more in your pocket. I think most personal injury attorneys can than people can on their own. But at the same point, if you decide to do it on your own, don't take the first offer, right? You can negotiate. Don't feel like you're confined to the number that they give you. But also, if you go and negotiate with them, you can go back and forth. But if you come to me, right, I had a case once where a client called me. Insurance had offered them about $150,000. And they had severe injuries again, right? That's usually the thing that it requires to get there. But we're able to find a much larger amount of coverage available. We're able to build a case and put clients in a position to take care of themselves for the rest of their life, right? To help treat their injuries, but also to better enjoy their lives. So the reason it's like, so why do you need a personal injury attorney, right? Simply put, I think I can help you better value your damages. I think I can help you better get a resolution. I've seen studies that show that people get 4 to 5 times a resolution on a case by having a personal injury attorney. And so even if you think you get a good number, right, putting a couple $1,000s in your pocket doesn't feel bad. But even with my fee, which is pretty standard in the industry of 33 1/3% if we settle pre-litigation, that's pretty standard across the board in most places. Some places do higher than that. But even with that fee, I can put more in your pocket than you get from that settlement. And that's one of the main reasons to go with a personal injury attorney, right? It's going to it's someone to advocate for you. I mean, I think that you don't have to worry about fighting with the insurance. You have other things going on in your life. So it's convenience, it's someone to advocate for you, and it gets you a better resolution. So I guess the way I think about it is there really is only one shot, right? Like you don't get to, maybe there's a couple defendants, you can settle against a couple defendants. Once you settle, that's it. And so my thought to you would be, you really only have one chance at your claim. You don't have to rush it. Now, if you wait 3 years and get close to that, you should rush it. That's when you, at least in New Mexico, that's the timeline you need to rush it then. But otherwise, talk to a personal injury attorney. That's like, not even me, right? Like I just think a lot of people really miss out on best taking care of themselves, and they put themselves in a bad position because they're worried about, they get an offer, right? Like the things that offer a quick check, right? That feels good, having money, right? And there are times that people need the money sooner and they have to make their decision. But at the end of the day, if you want someone to advocate for you, you have this one chance. Call a personal injury attorney. Talk to somebody about what you can get. A personal injury attorney doesn't just help you get more. They're really going to put you in a position where you're not going to also be taken advantage of. Thanks for listening.